Hey loves, today we have a very interesting question. Somebody sent in this question in the comments section a very long time ago, but I have a list of questions that you guys ask, and as I come up with answers, I just pluck one off. So today's question is, Queen, is it okay to have a specific type that you like to date? Now, my answer to this question is very different today than it would have been 10, 15 years ago. Truly, truly, truly. Because I think that a lot of us are very specific with the type of person we want to be with. And for some of us, it's keeping us single. It's to our detriment. So let me do the introduction, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anybody and everybody that you think might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section, and if you want to get a reading done, please hit me up on social media or in my email. All of my personal information is underneath this video. Okay, please come be a patron on Patreon. That link is underneath this video. And if you feel so inclined, please drop me a donation to the channel. My Cashapp and my PayPal is underneath this video as well as my Ask an Aquarius merchandise. And I'm going to put directly underneath, the directions for the sip challenge. This is the last time I'm doing the sip challenge. Last time nobody won. I was drinking cranberry juice and nobody won because nobody put their answer where I asked you to put them so I could count them out. They were all over the place, so nobody followed directions, so nobody won. So it's $100 still on the table, last time. And if you guess what I'm drinking, that money will be yours. Now, this is my famous mug, my Queen's mug. And I'm going to take a sip, and you tell me, what am I drinking? I think this one is actually the easiest one. If you know, then you know. All right, so again, here's our question. So let's take a look at it. All right, so is it okay to have a specific type that you like to date? Now, first and foremost, I want to say, we all have types. Let me just get down to it. We all have types. Y'all know me. I like a big gal with a pretty face. Big titties. Let's just keep it real. We all adults here, okay? That's my type. It's always been my type. Probably will always be my type. There's nothing wrong with having a type. Liking a specific look or a specific, kind of person. But this is where the problem is coming in. I'm noticing as people are trying to manifest a mate into their life that they're sticking so closely to their preference that they're not paying attention to anything else. And so they're not manifesting what they want except for physically. I'm going to give you an example. I have a client and she would like to manifest a mate. Okay. It's been about a year. Hasn't been long. And she's been coming to me and asking me about the manifestation work that she's doing. So the problem is that, like with everybody else, she's focusing too much on this preference. She's focusing too much on this look. Okay? So what she's getting is men, because she's into guys, she's getting men who look perfect. Okay, they look exactly how she wants them to look, even down to the height, but they have no substance. Half of them have no job. Okay, no character, a lot of liars, a lot of deception. And I'm saying to her, and I'm looking at other people that are doing it, and I'm like, you know what the problem is here? We're focusing, and I did this too. We're focusing too much on how they look and not enough on how they feel. What is their soul like? What is their character like? And this is where the problem comes in. No, it's not wrong to have a type. Having a type is fine. I have a type. We all have a type. But the problem is that people are focusing too much on the physical preferences and not enough on the other things. Because every time my client that I'm telling you about walks away from a dude, it's not because of his looks. It's not because of his height. It's not because of how cute he is. It's because of one of those things that she's not focusing on in her manifestation. So what I'm saying is that I think that we should have our types. That's fine. But I think we need to give them less emphasis. If it's really important to you that the person that you date is tall, for example, I don't see anything wrong with that. But enough people are not looking beyond that. What is that person's character like? What are their values like? What are their goals like? What do they want to do with their life? Where do they see themselves in 10 years? What kind of 401k are they interested in creating? Or do they want to have children? Do they want to move and retire in a different country? You know, what do they think about gentle parenting versus authoritative parenting? You know, it's all of these other questions that people are not asking, and this is what's keeping us single. Focusing on our type is keeping us from finding our match. Okay? And some of us, just because you like a certain type doesn't mean that's the only type you'd be happy with. I probably would be just as happy with a woman who didn't have huge breasts. Probably so. If she had everything else going on and was attractive and had a good head on her shoulders, I'm pretty sure. Because remember, the body, what's the word for it? Deteriorates over time, okay? So however these people look, they're not going to look like that forever. So unless you planning to trade lovers every time they grow out of their looks or they get a little bit older, like Leonardo DiCaprio, it's already a flawed premise. It's a flawed idea because, like I said, they're not always going to look that way. So here we are looking for somebody that looks a certain type of way, but we're forgetting all of the other characteristics, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, which are the things that are going to make you leave that person. You're not going to stay with somebody who is messed up, no matter how great they look. They might look exactly how you want them to look. So what I've decided to do is, instead of looking for a certain type of look, to focus equally on a certain type of spirit, a certain type of soul. You know, I wrote this poem the other day, and all I wrote in the poem was their characteristics that were spiritual, emotional, and mental. I didn't put any physical characteristics in it. So I talked about how we would talk, how we would forgive each other, how we would hold each other sacred, you know, how we would be gentle with each other, you know, how we would defend each other's honor. You know, I talked about stuff like that. I stayed away from anything that was their look, how long their hair. Like, I like a woman with long natural hair, you know. I stayed away from all of those things and just talked about how they make me feel, how I make them feel, you know. So I feel like it's fine for you to do that, but I think we need to focus more on a person's energy. Think about it like this, right? What good is it to have a beautiful woman or a handsome, dark, handsome chocolate, or, you know, tall, whatever you like, man, if their soul is rotten? Think about it. You can't do nothing with them, because even if you try to stay with them, after a while they're going to destroy you, or they're going to suck you dry, you know, of all your energy, all your essence. So my only point here is that I do think it's okay to have a preference, but I think that it's equally as important to focus on the other characteristics. So if you're doing a manifestation or a prayer, or if you're looking for a certain kind of person, okay, you're looking for a certain look, but go beyond that. Okay? And this can be with other things too. I know somebody who really wants to marry a Scorpio. She loves Scorpios. She constantly is telling me how they're the perfect match for her. I think she's a Pisces. And she's always telling me about how they matched, how the water matches is what she's always talking about. So she thinks they're passionate, you know. kind of brooding, kind of dark. She likes that, you know? So she's constantly looking for a Scorpio. But if she meets a man who's not a Scorpio, she doesn't give him the time of day. She doesn't even attempt to see if she likes him because he's not a Scorpio. He's not a Scorpio placement. She'll take a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising. And if he's none of those three, then she's not really interested. And I'm saying to her, that's a flawed mentality, because you might find a man who is an Aries, for example, who's passionate, or you might find a Taurus who's passionate. Who knows, you know? But my point is give them a chance. Don't automatically write them off because they're not a Scorpio. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of us are working against our own better judgment by sticking to these very rigid preferences. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't think that that means, you know, abandon your preferences or don't have a preference. I think it means really consider what is really important to you. Is it more important to you to have a Scorpio, or is it more important to you to have a partner who you can trust? Is it more important for you to have somebody who has spiritual similarities to you and like-minded? Or is it more important to have a woman who has a double D bra? You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of us are focusing on the wrong things. And I think that that doesn't mean to stop liking your preference. I think that it means to give more focus to other things as well. So maybe right now 90% of her preference is looking for a Scorpio, and maybe 40% of her preference can be looking for a Scorpio, and the other 50% could be considering what characteristics she wants, because it's not just Scorpios that can give her those characteristics. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like, especially for me, when I've been doing my manifestations lately, because I've been working on my spiritual self, especially romantically lately, and I've been asking myself these tough questions, like what's really important? What is really a deal breaker? So I feel like it's really important for us to consider other things. You know, when people come to me, they want a relationship reading, right? The first thing they say to me is, I want to get a reading. Can you tell me about this person? Can you tell me will we make it? Are they the right person for me? You know, stuff like that. They ask me questions like that, right? And then during the reading itself, I'll say, well, what do you want to know about this person? They'll say, do they have a good job? Do they have good credit? Do they have a lot of kids? Do they have a lot of women? You know, have a lot of men, if it's, you know, either way, you know. They ask me questions like that. They'll say, does this person, give nice gifts, or will they take me out to eat? Or, you know, they ask questions like that, which are fine, but they never say, Queen, does he have a good soul? Queen, is she someone who will make a good mother? Queen, will she treat me well? Will she be honest with me? Will he be trustworthy? They never ask those questions. But those are the things that make them leave a person. You know, some of the times they might ask about infidelity. Sometimes they'll ask about that. But most of the time, the questions that they ask me are physical or financial, material things. They don't ask me, does this person have strong moral character? They don't ask me that. And I always interject it because it comes up in the cards, and I'll be like, ooh, boo boo, this person is, you know, I will tell them. But the point is that they don't think about it. They never think of that. They always want to know, you know, their credit score. And I can't tell them their exact credit score, but I can tell them if they have a good vibration around money, you know, how does that look? But why would you ask me about their money and their credit and things like that before you even ask me, is she a good person? I just think that we're focusing on the wrong things. So what we're getting is people who look beautiful. These, you know, most people I know, when they attract someone, it is their type. That's easy. For a lot of them, it's easy. You know, when I attract women, they're my type. That part is always. But that's not what makes me kick them back to the curb. That's not what makes me pull up. You know, what makes me pull up is they don't have no character. They don't have no conversation, you know, things like that. So if you're looking for somebody, yes, have a preference, but spend a lot more of your time and attention and focus on if you can be with this person for the long term, if that's what you're looking for. Now, if you're just looking for temporary, something like that, one night stand, it doesn't matter what their character is like if you just looking to spend 15 minutes with them. But if you're looking to have something a little bit more substantial, you got to start asking deeper questions, more intense questions about this person. And if you ask the questions, or if you see something, like for example, if you meet a woman and she's a 10, but she got a nasty attitude, she's moody, she don't treat people well, that's the kind of woman you need to leave alone. And you know what happens with my clients? They don't leave them alone. They'll mess with her because she's beautiful, because she's a 10. And then when she destroys their fucking life, they're back at me like, what happened? And I'm like, I told you this person was a creep, Don't ignore that kind of stuff just because the person is attractive. And it happens all the time. I'll have a woman say to me, I really, he's an idiot. Like the one girl told me, she said he's an idiot, but he is so good in bed. And I'm like, so you're spending time with somebody that you identified as an idiot because they are good in bed? So it's not just attracting the right person, it's knowing who to keep and who to toss back when you realize that's not somebody you can work with. So I would say that's my answer to that question. I feel like it's nothing wrong with a preference, but we're letting them keep us single. We're letting them keep us alone. All right, time for some positive comments. The first one came from Dora the Destroyer. I like that. That's fun. She said, I'm a Sagittarius and I've literally gotten cheated on by every Aquarius I've been with. The irony. That's really interesting because she wrote this under a video about Aquarius and Sagittarius. And in general, it's always the Sagittarius that cheat on the Aquarius. So that's very interesting. The irony for definitely. And that doesn't mean that's always going to happen. And it doesn't mean they both not cheating. They both could have been messing around. Or like in this case, I think she's saying she wasn't cheating. I think. I think. Are you saying you weren't cheating, or are you saying you both was cheating? Okay. But it sounded like to me she's saying that she wasn't cheating and the Aquarius was cheating on her. And I want to say that cheating by anybody is repulsive. It was wrong when I did it, because I was a cheater too. I got a Sagittarius moon. Hello. I was a cheating ass. It wasn't right then, and it's not right now. So I feel like it is ironic, that happened in that way with you. And that's also, like I said before, any sign is capable of cheating. Any person is capable of cheating, It's not like only Sagittarius cheat. It was just the fact that so many people have told me a Sagittarius cheated on them. That's what made me say that, as I was like, wow, I hear it all the time. And not to say I don't hear that other signs cheat, though. That is, don't ever think that. I've heard cheating about all the signs. It's just certain ones more than others. The next one comes from Creative Hive. Hey, Creative. Creative Hive said, I'm going to leave my Aquarius because she is heartless. Well, if she's truly heartless, I would leave her too. But the question I have is, was she always heartless? Because if your Aquarius was always heartless, that's just how your Aquarius is. But if your Aquarius was fine before and heartless now, something happened. Something has gone wrong. And if you explore and investigate, you might find out that it's something that can be fixed. Aquarius usually become heartless when we're hurt. We detach. So what hurt her, and can it be fixed? Is that's my question. Because if it can be healed, you might not have to leave your Aquarius. Y'all might be able to kiss and make up. All right, guys, it's time for us to get going. You come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.